Alright, so here I have my Honda Fit, and you can see the sway bar. I have it mounted in already. Right, this is the Megan sway bar. There's that. You can probably see the. You can probably see. I don't think you can tell. It's kind of hard to tell. See the. There's the sway bar end right there, and I can't tell. You could see the. No, you probably can't see it. See the frame brace. So anyways, there's that. I'm looking from the back side here. See if I can see that or not. You can see the rear sway bar as well. Alright, so these are the Megan Racing rear sway bars. So I had the front and rear in, and finished putting it in last night. So and I took a probably a 30-mile drive on it to the mountains, and I was really surprised at how well it performed. Really surprised. Made a huge difference. First, the steering. It was very responsive. Turn in, whatever direction turn in was real quick. It was quicker. When you're going and you're taking whatever corner. Let's say you're taking whatever corner. Then when you get out of that corner, lots of times, the factor is go in. The car leans, as going. Let's say, for example, a left turn. The car leans, right, leans outwards. Then once you straighten out, it rebounds back. It's not just back to flat, but back the other direction, and it does this, sway back and forth a few times before it settles. So with this, it just leans a little bit, and as soon as it straightens out, it's like and it's back flat again, back to normal. So it's much flatter. There's no swaying back and forth. With this, so yeah, so I was really surprised. The other thing that really surprised me is how it actually improved the ride quality, the comfort. So sway bars, when you have sway bars, they connect both sides of the suspension, right? So the suspension actually becomes not 100% independent anymore, right? So the more that the two connects, the less independent they become. So thicker sway bars may become less independent. Usually what happens when you do that is when you hit a bump, let's say I hit a pothole on the right side, you hit the pothole on the right side will lift up, but since it's more connected, the left side tends to lift up too. So usually what happens when that happens is it actually causes a bumpier ride, but in this case it doesn't. In this case, it actually made the ride smoother. I think the reason for that is because it's still factory springs and height and everything, right? The only thing I did was sway bars. So the factory spring is very soft to begin with, and the dampening on the factory is, there's not that much dampening to it. So it basically it compresses and really fast and rebounds pretty quickly as well. So being more connected, the two sides, as one side goes up, it also kind of makes the other side goes up a little bit as well. So it actually firmed up the spring. So instead it's just compressing one spring, it's compressing one, but the other one's partially getting compressed as well. So it actually firmed up the ride a little bit, and it actually made it feel smoother. Because before it was just overly soft, and it was just, when you hit a big pothole, it would actually like bottom out, and it was just like this, and it's like this, bam, and it just pops up, and you feel that impact of the pothole. And you're like, oh my god, that was a hard hit, but now they actually got it actually eased that up, so it doesn't feel like that anymore. It doesn't feel like a hard hit anymore. So the back, the back has a torsion bar, right? So the torsion bar is basically it's kind of like a solid axle almost, because it connects the both sides. So it's not independent at all. The rear suspension is actually not independent. It's only the front that's independent. Obviously with the sway bar it makes it less, but with the back, because of that torsion bar, it's actually not independent at all. But in this case, with the sway bar added there, it actually makes the torsion bar even stiffer, and that really helped out the flatness and the steering, the sway side to side movement as you go from the corner to the straight, or even from one corner to another corner. You're doing kind of a back and forth. Factory, it was like several times before it stabilizes. Now it's just like then it's like that. It's very stable now, much more stable. I guess that's why they also call sway bars stabilizer bars, right? Because that's what they do. They stabilize the vehicle. So this worked out really well. I really like it. Let's see. So that's the handling and the ride feel, right? Handling, ride feel. What else did I notice? Side to side handling, ride feel. Definitely more comfortable. I didn't notice any more harshness as far as NVH, noise, vibration, harshness. It seemed like there was less. Again, that I think because this original springs are so soft that they bottom out too easily. So these ones, since they connect the two sides a little bit better, a little more, it doesn't bottom out as easily. So I actually made the ride a little bit smoother in that regards. Let's see, what else was I gonna say? I had something else in mind, but I forgot what I was gonna say. So when you're going, as you're going, and factory, this car oversteers. As I said, even not oversteer, understeer. This car understeers a lot. I mean, anytime you're pushing it, the front end will just push. As you're turning, the front end will just push, and it's understeers like crazy. With this setup now, it actually is actually much closer to being neutral. The only time it really understeer. The only time it understeers is when you're in the corner. You're already going through a fast corner. You're going fast in the corner, and you like stomp on the gas more. Then it will understeer a little bit, and it's not that much. Hardly any. Not that much at all. You feel it. You feel it a little bit, and like okay, you can ease off on the gas, and it's very predictable. Whereas before, when you were to go and it would just right away, and when you try to correct it, it had that side to side wobble. It's like and that actually made it more unstable. And there's been times where it I sort of almost lost it. Actually, one time I did lose it, but that was actually something else that actually didn't have to do with the handling. That actually had to do with traction because the road I was on had some gravel on there. But anyways, so before stock, as you corner and it understeers, you're making a right turn and it's understeering. And you try to correct it or whatever, the car's like, it's doing this, and it makes it actually less stable and less predictable and less controlled basically. But now it's actually very controlled. Usually when you go with thicker sway bars, you lose mechanical grip. That's the thing with sway bars, is that you lose mechanical grip. But in this case, I didn't feel like I lost any mechanical grip. I actually felt like I gained grip. So which actually surprised me. So yeah. So I'm really happy that I did that. The steering, that was the first thing I noticed. It was the steering, the sharpness of the steering. Man, it's like it steers almost as sharp as my Miata. So yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I was really surprised. So yeah, so that's it. So that's all I'm doing with this car. Just the sway bars, and actually I also have a front brace on the bottom. I don't know if that does anything, but I put it in anyways. I still have the roll center adjustment, lower ball joint. I haven't put that in yet. So I'm not sure if I have tools to be able to do that. So I'm gonna hold off on that for now. I'm just gonna drive it the way it is. But it made a huge difference. I was really surprised. I wasn't expecting that much of a difference, but it makes a huge difference, and it feels so well balanced now. The front and rear, it feels so well balanced. It really only understeers when you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. When you're driving a front wheel drive car, you drive a certain way because it's front wheel drive, and the weight distribution, and you drive it more properly. It doesn't feel understeer at all. It feels like it feels neutral. Whereas before, even when driving it properly, if you go a little faster, it will definitely understeer quite a bit. So yeah, so that's my initial impressions with the sway bars for the Honda Fit, third generation GK.